In this video, I'm going to be starting a new series looking at how we can do Bible memory using this app called RemNote. And in this video, I'll be introducing what RemNote is and how we might set up our RemNote workspace for Bible memory. And then in future videos, we'll have a look at some of the features and how to use them to help us memorize the Bible. So you can see the RemNote website on the screen here. And I just want to emphasize what they've got right in bold in the middle of the screen, the all-in-one tool for thinking and learning. And one of the main reasons why RemNote is a potentially very useful tool for Bible memory is because it's focused on learning. I would add to their description that it is also focused on remembering. So it helps you think about what you're focusing on, it helps you learn it, and helps you remember it. You can also see right underneath, it is a note-taking tool, but it's also got other features like flashcards and more. And we'll talk about more of those features in future videos. But basically, as we just go down and look at some of the features, as already mentioned, it's got the ability to take notes, to write out outlines of your thinking. And this is useful because when we're reading the Bible, we tend to break it down into books of the Bible which have chapters, which have verses. So it's really useful if we're going to stick with those chapter and verse references. I've also mentioned up above that RemNote uses flashcards, and flashcards are a big part of the process of maintaining the things you have learned or remembering the things that you have learned over a long period of time. And they actually use a particular spacing schedule in RemNote to help you maintain the things you've memorized over a long period of time. And that is based on whenever you complete a flashcard, indicating how confident you were with the answer or whether you got it right or not. As we scroll down a little bit further on their website, we find that there are some more features, PDF annotation, linking in web articles. The PDF annotation currently is a paid feature, so I'm not going to be going into that only because it is a paid feature, and I'm just going to explain the free features in this series. But then last of all, I just want to emphasize that RemNote has the ability to save all of your files on your own computer rather than on a server. And the big benefit with this means that you don't need an internet connection in order to be using it. You can install it on your computer and then just run it. Okay, so let's switch across to RemNote and see what it will look like when we install it. So in order to install it, you need to go to the RemNote page there. I'll leave a link down in the description. But let's open up the RemNote app. This is what you'll see when you open up RemNote. And you can see that there are 0 notes, no notes overall. Now, within RemNote, RemNote is very hierarchical, and you can probably gather that by the titles up across the top here. So there are no notes, but the types of notes you could have are documents, folders, top-level Rem, PDFs if you've got the paid version, daily docs or daily documents, and then there are some there are typical standard what are called Rem, and they are just dot points within some of these notes. So to get started, let's create a new folder. The folder is basically the top level of storage. So we're going to call this Bible Memory. And you can see here, I've got Bible Memory is a folder listed here. Now, because it's a folder, I can add documents within it. So I'm going to add a document within it. And this is Memorize Galatians. Okay, so if I go back up to Bible Memory, you can see I've got the Bible Memory folder, and within it, I've got a document, Memorize Galatians. I'm going to add another document, Memorize Ephesians, and then go back. All right, so let's open up Memorize Galatians. Let's go back into that document, and let's create an outline of the book of Galatians just quickly. So we've got chapter 1, got chapter 2, chapter 4, 6 chapters overall in the book of Galatians. All right, so I've created a brief outline, and you can see they're all bullet points. In RemNote, each of these bullet points is referred to as a Rem. So when we have the name RemNote, RemNote is basically a document editing software where you make a whole collection of notes, and those notes consist of a whole bunch of top points, which are called rem. You can also make those rem hierarchical. So just like within Bible memory, we have the folder which has documents in it. Within those documents, you have the rem, and you can expand that out to see them here. But within each of them, you can also create more hierarchy. So in this case, we are going to add verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, etc. Now, this is the way that RemNote is structured. You'll have at the top level folders, inside folders, you'll have documents, inside documents, you'll have rem, and then rem can have other rem underneath them. It is also worth noting at this point, within a folder itself, you can also add extra rem. So if for some reason I wanted to make a comment about my Bible memory strategy, rather than making a separate doc, I could just create a whole bunch of rem within Bible memory and make my own hierarchical structure in the Bible memory folder. So overall, you've got folders. Within them, you can put docs. It is worth emphasizing, though, that docs don't need to exist in folders. They can exist independently. And then within docs or folders, you can also put rem. Now, I will say at this point as well, rem also don't need to exist inside a doc or a folder. And when they don't exist within a doc or a folder, they are called top-level rem. I'm not going to go into that in detail in this video, but you can just quickly see, if we go back to the starting page, I now have 3 notes. I have a Bible memory folder and 2 docs, one on memorizing Galatians, one on memorizing Ephesians. And you can see I can filter through 2 documents, 1 folder, and no top-level rem. Okay, so that's just an introduction to RemNote and the hierarchy structure they have. In the next video, I will go through some more features and we'll begin to look at how we might use it more specifically for Bible memory.